Before we get started with the show, I'd like to thank our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Atmos Planning, financial planners turning visionaries into meaningful millionaires. Our second sponsor of the day is Planet Duct. Reach out to them for any of your air duct cleaning needs. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome back to the COS Business Podcast, the #1 podcast in Colorado Springs. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I'm the host of the show. Today, we have on Joshua Stephenson with Berkshire Hathaway Synergy Realty Group. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do and I guess your story here in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, man, thanks so much for having me on. I'm really glad to be here with you guys. This is my first ever podcast to do, so this is pretty
nice.
fun.
I love it when guests say that because it's a really good one to be a first one on.
Yeah, so I have no idea what to expect today, but I'll just tell my story, and I love talking to Andrew, cool guy. So
yeah, thank you, man.
I'm a real estate agent, but to make it simple, more complex, I help people buy, sell, and invest in real estate, help people build generational wealth for themselves. One of the cool things about my job is that you get to see people basically have their lives transformed through residential home ownership, right? So that can be through the appreciation they gain, that can be through investing in properties and cash flowing things. You can just see some really cool stuff with that. But more than kind of the individual life transformation that I get to be a part of, the really cool thing, the thing that I think about and that motivates me in my business mostly is seeing the city improve. I'm a Christian guy, and one of the kind of tenets that I push forward in my thinking about this is this idea from the book of Jeremiah, where these guys they're all in exile. The people of God are in exile, and God tells the people to pray for the city that they're in, like to seek its good, because as the city thrives, so will the people. And that's really the thing that I think about is as our city thrives, as the Colorado Springs gets bigger and better, that's better for everyone. And I want to be a part of seeing that improve, whether that's through just the residential side, but also through community service, through connecting with people. Just making the city better is really my main driver for my business.
And what's cool about that is if you help the community will help you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, 100%. All the networking things that you and I have been a part of. You hear a lot of people say that givers gain kind of idea.
Yeah.
Right? And that can be twisted into I'm just helping, so I'll get stuff in return. That's not the way to do it. Right?
No, for sure.
Yeah. I really like the idea of, hey, I'm going to give as much as I can. I'm going to be as useful as I can to you or to whoever it is. And if that, I don't like the idea of karma, but if that comes back to me, I'm grateful for that. Right?
Yeah. And that's, I think, the way you should look at it, giving without expectation.
Right.
But the interesting thing about that is it's almost like a law of nature.
Yeah.
That if you give, it just comes back to you.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. It's interesting.
Well, there's lots of people who study this kind of stuff, and there's the law of reciprocity, right?
That's what I was getting at. Yeah.
So as we give, people unfortunately feel an expectation, right? To return. The way that I think about that, I don't know if you've ever taken somebody to coffee and they'll say oh, I got you next time, right? I'll pay you back next time, right? I tell people, hey, don't do that. Don't pay me back. If you next time we go out for coffee, if you want to buy my coffee for me, just do it out of gratitude. Because that's how I do it, right? It's I don't feel that kind of expectation or indebted to someone when they do that. It's more of I want to be grateful in my heart, and that gratitude is the thing that pushes my actions forward, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll dive into your story
Cool.
Here in a second. We're going to roll the intro music, and we'll get started.
Awesome.
This is a show where we have real conversations with entrepreneurs and business owners who are mostly in Colorado Springs doing things in the community of Colorado Springs. Let's talk business. That's the slogan of the show. Let's talk business.
I like it.
Yeah, man. So are you from Colorado Springs?
Not originally.
Okay.
I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And then after high school, I went to New Mexico for about 9 years.
Okay.
I was living in a small town, maybe 12,000 people when the students weren't there, about 15, 17,000 when we had students in town. And then I graduated in 5 years. I worked for the college for 4 years, basically as a dorm dad. So I was the residence hall director of this 350-person residential residence on the campus.
Okay.
And there's lots of stories that go into that.
Okay.
But that was what I did kind of right after college, and then we moved here in 2012. My wife and I we worked for a couple of churches, did some campus ministry at Colorado College, did some stuff like that. Worked some retail jobs, did a bunch of different stuff. So
yeah. So what got you into real estate and when?
Yeah, so I've been in since 2018, so about 3 years
Okay.
now. And as I was thinking about my life at the time, like I was doing my ministry, I was working at a church. But one of the things that I've always wanted to do, even as focusing on some of the ministry stuff in my life, was how can I like contribute to the community, right? And when I was just working for the church, or I was doing my campus stuff, it was like raising money. So people were giving money to my family, to kind of support us and things like that. But I was like, man, I really don't like that.
Yeah,
so
I can
much.
feel you on that.
The emotion was a little bit hard. And so what I decided to do was figure out how could I do something that would be useful for the community, but would also take care of my family, so I wouldn't have to necessarily ask for money. I could just kind of put the resources into the ministry that I wanted to. And so I was like, okay, what's easy to get into, doesn't cost a lot, and I have the personality kind of for. I was like, well, I don't want to go back to college because that's going to be a lot of time and money and effort. It may, just take a long time. Didn't think about insurance or anything like that. I was like, well, I have a friend who's in real estate, and they gave me a book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agents by Gary Keller.
Nice.
And I read that book. I was like, I could do this. I'm not dumb. I got a pretty good personality, I hope.
Yeah.
We'll see, right? We'll see. And the barrier to entry was pretty low. And so like, well, let's try it. And so did all my courses. I had this little like part-time job in the summer that paid me like $1,000 so I could contribute that to my education. So I did it. And I jumped in March of 2018 and haven't, just kept plugging away at it, man.
Okay. What does plugging away look like?
Yeah. So if anybody outside of the real estate business would talk about Colorado Springs, they'll say, man, it must be great to be a real estate agent in Colorado Springs. Like, you might think that.
Yeah.
You might think that. But our market has some challenges to it. There's some challenges that have existed since I've been in, and kind of over the last 5 years or so. Less and less inventory, a little bit more challenging market for buyers. There's just less and less homes that are for sale. Like, it's really crazy right now what it looks like. I did a little look at the inventory the other day, and we had single family homes in El Paso County under $500,000. There were 135. There should be like 2,000 homes like that. So we're like super, super low.
So say that again.
So
single family homes?
Single family homes in El Paso County, not just the city, but like all in the surrounding area, under $500,000.
Is Pueblo in El Paso
No,
County? Okay.
That's Pueblo County, but 135 homes.
Yeah, that's not that much.
That's nothing.
How many agents are there?
There's over 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like every business, about 20% of those agents do most of the work.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like the 20% of those 20% are like the ballers, the really good.
For sure, for
doing most
sure.
of the business. So when I had my first kind of full year in 2019, I did maybe like $2.5 to $3 million in gross like sales.
Okay.
And that put me in the top 250 of agents in the city.
Okay.
So
250?
yeah.
Okay. Out of plus 5,000.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's not a ton of agents doing a ton of business.
Yeah.
Most of the agents are doing no business. That's just kind of the normal thing.
That's kind of what I've heard too. Like, and I heard a lot of times real estate agents will get in it just because they know someone who needs a house.
Right, or they'll buy their own house. So
Yeah.
there's
Okay.
different things. Yeah, because it's not very expensive to get credentialed. Under it's under $5,000 to start a business like this. And that's, I mean, it's even cheaper than that, but that's like your top end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long does someone usually stay in real estate?
So the statistics are bad.
Yeah.
I think it's somewhere between 15% make it past 5 years.
Okay.
So you got about an 85% attrition rate between 2 and 5 years. If you get past 2 years, you got a little bit better shot to make it, but really the 5-year attrition is about 80%.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially what the running or starting a business,
Right.
businesses 9 out of 10 of them fell.
Yep.
You hear that thrown around a lot, and it's because it's true.
It's just hard.
Within the first 5 years, and then 5 years after that, another 9 out of 10 fell.
Yep.
So it's like having a business after 10 years, you're something special's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's all these entrepreneurs and gurus and stuff, and there's one. His name is Naval Ravikant. Do you know who that is?
I do. Yeah.
So Naval's like, you have to do it for 10 years before you have anything.
Yeah.
And I'm 3 and a little bit in. It's like, okay, I just got to keep that mindset. It's like,
Yeah.
just keep plugging along, like just keep trying, keep doing the right kind of things, and you get to 10 years and you can breathe a little bit after that.
The interesting thing is there's actually truth in that with my story.
Okay.
Technically, I've been starting businesses since I was like 17, 16, joining my first MLM, or my only MLM I joined actually when I was 17. Life Vantage.
Okay, cool.
And it was actually, I think, out here in Colorado.
Okay.
I think that's where it started, out here in Colorado, but I'm from Kansas City, and that's where it was where I was at. And all these businesses, different businesses, multiple of them that I've started over the past 12 years, so it's like, and then now I'm finally seeing success with one. My audio just cut out. Do you hear it?
I hear you.
Okay. You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then it must be my headphones. All right. Yeah, there's still meters going. Well, I can't hear myself right now. This thing's messing up. That is not good. All right. It's still, there it is. I have to hold it to hear it. Oh, crap. I got equipment problems. What is going on, man? All right, let me switch it. We'll be right back. All right, now I can hear myself.
There we go.
It mutes yourself. These headphones are like really cancel things. Like, so it was like I was having to yell or something.
I love the audio. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. This is some really good equipment. So where was I? Starting businesses.
Yeah.
But it took about 10 years, or like almost a little over 10 years, for me to actually see some success with a business that's bringing me money, and I'm living on fully, and that business is just growing. Like it's awesome. So
it's the overnight success, 10 years in the making, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
So how's business been for you?
Yeah. So I mean, the pandemic has been a weird thing. So my first 18 months or so, March of 2018 to really the end of 2019 into a little bit of 2020 was pretty good. Did about 20 transactions. Mm-hmm. So, 10 a year, that kind of thing. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. So most single agents like I was are doing 4 to 6 per year. So
yeah, kind
of 50% more than that, or 100% more than that.
Well, that's almost one a month,
right.
you know?
Yeah. And that's enough money to live on, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good life.
For sure. I think, even 3 to 4 is probably enough money to live on, right?
If you're frugal.
If you're frugal, that's what I was getting at. I was thinking minimum, if you had
probably 6 would be your base,
mm-hmm.
That you could do
for sure.
But I'm a full-time breadwinner for our family, and so
you have a whole family.
So I have a wife and 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
My wife bears the large burden of the child, not even childcare, the parenting. Like she's
mm-hmm.
with the boys at home,
mm-hmm.
And I'm out, killing the wildebeest and bringing it back, that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Very traditional idea, bring home the bacon, she cooks it up, that kind of thing.
For sure.
And she's great. My wife is. I could not live the life that I'm living with the kind of joy and peace and
mm-hmm.
Just contentment that I have without her or my kids. So I'm just really grateful for them.
Yeah.
But the first 18 months were really good. And then I changed companies. I was trying to kind of level up a little bit, go to a more established kind of company, work with some different folks, try to learn a little bit more. And it just didn't work out as the pandemic hit us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had, business lined up and things were going well.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pandemic just shut the world down.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't been in very long, I didn't have a a salary job. I had a strict commission job. They shut us down for basically 3 weeks in April.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't know what to do to generate business in the midst of this chaos.
For sure.
Really, really crazy. And so I was doing a couple things. I had, one, maybe a deal every other month.
Mm-hmm.
But that just wasn't enough for the company that I was with.
Yeah.
And so we parted ways in August of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I joined a team with Keller Williams, and real estate has all kinds of different formats. So you can work as a single agent, you can start your own brokerage, be just your own thing, or you can work under a big umbrella like I do with Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Synergy Realty Group,
mm-hmm.
or you can work on a team underneath a big brokerage, which I did for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And that was. The people were great. I loved all the people that I worked with. Just the structure wasn't ideal for me in terms of the financial structure.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what? I've done this on my own. I've been an individual agent. I was successful for 18 months. I know what to do to generate business. I know what to do to at least generate enough business to be sustainable. So I'm just going to go back and do that.
Yeah.
And so I left. I was with Keller Williams for a little bit. I left that company, joined Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Synergy Realty Group, and have loved every minute of it.
And so this group that you're in is how does that work? How does the business work in that
Yeah, so it's basically a parent company that
mm-hmm.
you work for as a independent contractor. So we're kind of under that banner. We can use the tools, we can use the name, the logos, things like that. We pay a fee for that.
What kind of tools does a company like that provide?
Yeah, so there's a CRM that helps you manage your clients. They have just a lot of really great videos, a lot of digital products that are great, marketing materials that you can utilize to promote yourself or your business or a listing or things like that. And then just the support of the local office here is really awesome because we have a great administrator. We have other team members that just help us to do the things that we need to do. They can order signs. They can do all the little stuff that most entrepreneurs are not super great at.
Yeah.
Like I think a
lot of the admin stuff.
Yeah, a lot of admin stuff. And I think most entrepreneurs are kind of that bigger picture, like high energy, like maybe not necessarily, but like they're engaging with people. I mean, as a real estate agent, that's what I do all the time.
Yeah.
But some of the details, the little admin stuff can get lost. And so having
it takes them out of their element.
Right. Yeah. and then they spend extra energy and time. And this happens to me. I don't know if this happens to you. They spend extra energy and time doing things that they're just not good at.
Yeah.
And so to have...
And it drains you.
Yeah. So to have the support structure is super awesome.
Nice.
Because it takes some of that burden away.
Yeah, and that allows you to do what you're good at.
Right, exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what are some good ways to work up business as a real estate agent? What do you do to get those numbers?
Yeah, so there are tons of things that you can do, and everything works. Right?
Okay.
I think, as a marketer, like you understand marketing, like everything that you do, if you do it consistently, works. So you can
consistency,
right? So you can spend a bunch of money on billboards and put them somewhere, and it's like, oh, that's the billboard guy. You can be the billboard guy, or the bus stop guy.
Or Frank Azar's really nailed that down.
Right, yeah, or you can be the radio guy. You can spend a crap ton of money on radio advertising or TV.
Justin Hermes,
right? Yeah, you can do. You can spend a ton of money on Facebook, on digital advertising. I'm sure some people who just spend
Shields. Yeah, I'm naming local business. Local people.
There's all kinds of ways to market. So for me, I'm an independent guy, independent agent. I don't have a huge marketing budget. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to spend on that kind of advertising. So what I do is I invest in relationships.
Okay.
So I network. So that's where we know each other from 1 Million Cups and some other things.
Which I haven't seen you there.
I know. Now I feel shame. But so networking with individuals, really connecting with people that I just know, because I've been here for almost 10 years. I have a database of maybe 400 to 500 people that I have the information where I can connect with them. Right. And so that's really what I do, is connect with people. Really, it's great to have past clients. So as you continue to do business, I got a call today or a text today. It's like, hey, we're moving out of state. We're going to sell our house. When do we need to do that? It's like, okay, here's the info that you need.
Exactly.
So those are great relationships that you just build. And if you help people on the front end, they're probably going to want to help you on the back end. What the weirdest thing about real estate is a lot of people don't use the realtor that helped them buy their house to sell their house.
Okay.
It's really weird.
How do you... Is there a way to bridge that gap?
Yeah, it's staying connected.
Yeah. Okay.
Staying connected. Because what
you gotta build the bridge.
Yeah, what happens a lot of times, I think, is just people get busy, or they're just not intentional, or they don't spend the time or the money or whatever they need to do to stay connected with the people that they
directly after this at 3:00. I'm filming a client appreciation event that some real estate agents are doing.
Oh, awesome.
And so I now kind of understand. This kind of helps them continue that relationship with the people that they've worked with.
Yeah, and I mean, this is true in real estate, I think, everywhere. But our city, we're a relationship city. Like, that's how you build business. That's why you you're doing these podcasts, is to build relationships with people that are in business with.
Exactly.
So, same thing with our clients, our past clients, and our future clients. Like, everybody needs to live somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And whether they're renting now or they want to rent forever, who knows? But somebody's going to make a decision on real estate that right?
Yeah.
And so my job is to connect with those people that are around me, and then connect with people like you, people at the networking events, and say, hey, and this is what I tell people, because there's like 5,000 realtors, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, listen, I am not everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you connect with some and don't connect with others. I just tell people, hey, listen.
And there's other videographers in town too as well. So that people will connect to.
Right.
Or that or maybe even that's who their relationship is with.
Yeah, that's right.
So it makes sense.
Yeah. What I tell people is, hey, I know like 3 or 4 realtors. you don't have to send everybody that you know who needs real estate to me, but I know you're going to know somebody who would connect really well with me.
Hey,
just send me that
I like
person.
that. Yeah.
Right? Just send me those people. It's like I don't need to be your only real estate connection, but I just want to be one of them.
For sure.
And if you find someone who would connect with me on a deep level, like that's the people I want to connect with.
Yeah. In August, I'm not going to say an exact date, but around like 6 months from now, I'm debating on whether I'm going to get a van or a home.
I'm living in a van.
A van or a house, because the van is the home.
Yeah.
So a van or a house, because my buddy Brian, he helps convert these vans, and he knows everything how to do that. And so it's like, maybe I should just go that route. And I'm pretty sure you can get a home loan for a mobile home. So I don't know if that applies to the vans.
That's an interesting question. I actually don't know. I'll look into that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. I'll put it in the comments in the YouTube video.
Yes, that's good. And so it's like, that's actually, I'm kind of weighing my options. What do I want to do? Because you have to be in business for a certain amount of time in order to get any kind of mortgage or any kind of thing. And around August is when I think I'm around 2 years is when my business was ready. I'm already been in business for like over 2 years, but I didn't register it until like August.
Yeah, and really the question there would be, what do you want?
Yeah.
Because
I'm a minimalist.
A van is going to be a place to live.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be low cost or no cost after the initial conversion versus your home, like in a house, right? Which has potential for investment and appreciation, things like that. So it just depends on what you're looking.
Yeah, because the van's going to depreciate.
Probably. Yeah, probably. And a home in our market and in most markets are going to be a reliable source of appreciation for you and equity for a property. So it just depends on what you want to do. If you want to live that minimalist life and just go low cost, like live in a van. I don't know if you have a family or anything like that.
Nah.
Yeah, so it might be the right way to do it.
It's probably the perfect match for me, to be honest, because I'm kind of nomadic anyways.
Yeah, because what you could do is just stack cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Just stack as much cash
I'm a
as
stack
you want.
sats.
Yeah.
Which is Bitcoin.
Yeah, so you're investing in Bitcoin and obviously some Dogecoin.
Got some Doge going on for sure, dude. Pull the tab.
Yeah.
Marcus, no, I'm just kidding.
So it really just is what a person wants to do, right? Because there's obviously flexibility in the option that you're talking about, or even in renting, like you have a little bit more flexibility. There's some freedom. You're not tied to a 30-year or 15-year mortgage. Like there's lots of things that are good there. Yeah. But on the homeownership side, there's lots of things that you can do there also.
Pros, cons.
Yeah, pros and cons, exactly. And so you just have to figure out what's the right fit for you. And anybody, you guys are watching, just got to figure out what's right for you when it comes to these kinds of questions on real estate.
I love it when the guest addresses the camera. Because not every guest knows to do that or does that, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. It does it adds to the experience and keeps our engagement up. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are some challenges that you've had growing the business?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah.
I think the biggest challenge is just a little bit of newness to the whole business world, right? I came from kind of your normie world.
Yeah.
I've worked some retail jobs. I've always had some kind of like salary or something like that. When I worked for the college, I had my room paid for because I had this 1 or 2 bedroom apartment at the bottom of this giant building. So I never had.
And you were the dorm dad.
I was the dorm dad.
So did that pay for it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And then I got like $1,600 in meal stuff every month. So
nice.
I was like, didn't really have to go to this grocery store. I could just go eat the bad cafeteria food. It's great.
Yeah.
But that was like my first, and even my first 2 years of marriage was in that place.
Okay.
And so we have this very strange, start to my kind of adult life, right?
Yeah.
So moving here, it's like, okay, well, I'm working for a church part-time, I worked at Savory Spice Shop, which is just across the street from where we're filming.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
And then I worked at a couple of other coffee shops and things like that before I started my ministry at the college. And
you don't see a lot of 6'4" people being baristas.
I think that is correct. I think it was pretty good. Not as good as some of the ones.
It's just a random observation I just thought of.
Yeah.
You don't see tall people being coffee shop people.
Yeah, you just gotta get lean over and all that stuff.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I have weird thoughts, and sometimes they cut myself off.
No, I love it. This is a real conversation.
Yeah, exactly. It's a real conversation.
That's a real conversation.
Exactly.
It's bunny trails.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I think the challenge of getting into the business world, like learning all the details and the small things that you have to take care of, whether that's your, registering your business or, becoming an LLC, paying your taxes, like all that stuff is challenge. Like that part's challenging. I think specifically in real estate, as you start out, it's just letting people know what you're doing, right? And then building enough trust that a person would say, okay, well, I've invested for 20 years in this home. I have, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 of equity that I'm counting on you to help me recoup.
Yeah.
Right. It's a huge, huge thing. I mean, it's the biggest financial transaction that most people do is their home purchase or sale, right? And so developing, trust with people when you're new, it's like, well, you're inexperienced. How are you going to help me? And it's like, here's how I can do it. Got great people around me. I've gone through the classes. I know what to do mechanically, but it's building those really good relationships with people to say, hey, we're going to use you to take care of this large transaction. So like that, I think that
was the challenge.
That is a challenge. Yeah. And then, eventually you run out of the people that to connect with.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's, okay, well, how do I find really good ways to connect with people I don't know?
Now you got to know more people. Yeah.
Either you got to know more people or you got to be really good at connecting with strangers.
Yeah, right? For sure.
And that's just a skill set that every salesperson has to have. I mean, you're in sales. You
have to
sell
develop
yourself,
it. Yeah.
Right?
It's crazy because I would have never imagined myself being good at sales, going out and being good at meeting strangers.
Sure, yeah.
Which is funny because one of my closest friends, he's like, dude, you've always connected with lots of people. Yeah. So I was like, okay, maybe I was natural.
Some natural talent, right? Yeah.
So,
well, and that's the cool thing is, you can either have natural talent with it or you can learn. And I think for me, especially over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, I've read a ton of books that I've just really loved about this kind of idea, whether that's persuasion or whether that's just connecting. And everybody reads the How to Win Friends and Influence People kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that book is it's true.
Yeah.
Right. Like you do those 7 things or whatever. It's like you can really deeply connect with people, which is so awesome. And
it's so true. Not only is it true, it was written like 100 years ago.
Right.
And it feels like it was written yesterday.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
some of the references are dated, but all the principles. I mean, have you found that to be true? Like, have you ever read that book?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you use that. Have you found it to be true that it works?
What do you mean by it works?
Like, if you do those things, you can really deeply connect with people.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And, like, I kind of just take in the information and then I don't think about it. Yeah. So I'm probably, like, just utilizing it. But, so I don't know exactly if I could say that, but it probably is true.
Well, I'll just tell you, as a more like, learn, implement guy, that's how I roll. Like, it really works.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really helpful.
Yeah. What are one of the things that you use from the book?
So I think, that he talks about listening quite a bit in the book. I can't remember the details, but just about listening to people. And I think that is probably the biggest thing. And what I really like is thinking about the other person's like story and who they are as a human.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're not just a box to check, or they're not just a potential transaction down the road, right? Like, this is a human with a story, with a life, with struggles, with fears, with challenges, with joys, with things that make them just like light up with excitement and energy, And it's like, if you get to connect deeply with that part of a person, man, that is powerful, right? If you can connect to the heart of a person, it's a huge thing. And so that's one of the things that I love most about this world that I'm in, is the deep connections that I get to have, whether it's through like a one-on-one or whether it's through a networking event or whether it's just through, hey, I have this new connection that I made. It's like, help me understand like who you are as a person. Help me understand the heart, the thing that motivates you to move forward, the thing that like gets you out of bed in the morning, the thing that enlivens your very being. Yeah. Like, that is so cool. I love that.
What is the thing that gets you out of bed every morning?
Yeah, man.
That really makes you feel passion.
Yeah. So I think it's seeing the city improve. Like I shared that earlier at the very beginning. It's this idea that as I do my job and as I connect with people, as I benefit them through the service that I provide, I'm a small part of seeing Colorado Springs and the area really around us become a place that lets human beings thrive, right? And that's the thing that I really love, whether that, there's some self-improvement stuff in that, that kind of motivates me.
For sure.
But as the city improves, so do the lives of the people. And obviously our city has a bunch of problems. Like, we got things we're dealing with, like every city does.
Yeah.
But if every person would say, hey, I want to be a part of making the city better, that starts with me, right? That starts with myself. Like, how can I be a better human?
Exactly.
How can I let that improvement benefit my family, the people who are closest to me, whether that's actual family or friends or your community, whatever that would be. And then how does that radiate out to the small neighborhoods that we're a part of? Maybe it's an apartment complex or whatever it would be. That can start with one person, then just radiate out
For sure.
into not just our state, but not just our country, but maybe even the world in really cool ways. And so like that idea is really engaging for me. It's such a powerful motivator. Each day is like, okay, I am helping people make their lives better, secure their financial futures, but then our city is improving because of what I'm doing, and that's powerful.
So what are some things that someone could do right now to help improve the city?
Well, I really
someone watching, just anyway.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll just do this bit for a second.
Yeah.
I think really the biggest thing is trying to become a better person yourself. That's really the biggest thing that you guys could do is take inventory, take stock of your own life, and say, what are the things that I'm doing that if I stop doing would make my life better, and that would make my family's life better, and would make the life of people in no city better. And then once you do that, then you can start working on the big stuff. You can start working on the systemic things or the things in your community or whatever. But you got to take care of you first. You got to make sure that yourself is getting as good as you can get moving forward, and then you can do the other stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm so glad you said that too, because literally in the interview that we recorded before yours, we were talking something similar about that. You got to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
I kind of like the phrase, you got to be selfish to be selfless.
Right. Yeah.
And I just like to play on words on that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So it's very true. And there's also the metaphor, of in an airplane, if it's crashing, you got to put your mask on first. So so you can take care of your kids.
You're all gonna die anyways, but
there's that aspect of it too. But hey, people do survive plane crashes.
They do.
So you could be that odd number.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I think that a lot of folks want to fix all the big problems.
Yes.
But we have to fix the small problems. I think it's like our businesses. About Dave Ramsey, right? You've heard of him. He talks about like debt snowballing, right?
Yeah.
It's like do the smallest one first. And why do you do that?
To show improvement, to encourage yourself.
Yeah.
To be like, I'm doing progress.
I got a $50 Visa card that I got because I wanted a discount at whatever sporting goods store, right?
Yeah.
Pay that one off. Like just get rid of that thing, and then you do the next one, and then you do the next one. And I think as far as like improving the large scale things in our world, it's like the smallest thing that we can improve is us. And as we get better, then we can work on the stuff that's around us.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
So what are your plans? Where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, so my big goal is to retire in 10 years, actually.
Okay, nice.
And when I say retire, I mean become financially independent, right?
Okay.
So I don't have to work a job. I've got passive income, whether that's through real estate or investing. Or
if you want to go to Cancun, you go to Cancun.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Maybe that means building some digital assets or having some online stuff, that I can do. But really, it's to get to the place where my kids will be 17, 2, and or it's 12 and 11 in 10 years. And so really would have the opportunity to just be with them on a regular basis, be dad, that's my biggest goal. But what that's going to mean for the next 10 years is just to hustle.
Yeah.
All kinds of
if you want to
hustle.
Secure that, you gotta grind it out.
Yeah. Cause basically it would be, how do you produce $10,000 to $20,000 of passive income every month?
Yeah, no,
that's
for
the
sure.
Question, right?
I've been trying to do that since 2017.
Yeah. I like Elon Musk when he talks about take your big goal and then shrink it into 6 months.
Oh yeah.
So I may think about that a little bit. It's like, how could I do?
At least for a perspective wise,
right?
Because it'll help make you think bigger.
Just light a fire under your body.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, and I do love it because of that. It's like, it's going to challenge your thinking and make you say, well, what are the crazy things that I'm not thinking about that I could do? And I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love challenging my thinking. I love I love that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew? What's been the biggest challenging thought that you've tried to have over the last little bit?
Challenging thought. I want to be the first video production company in space.
Ooh, I dig that.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do that in 6 months though.
Now, what would that look like?
I'm going to move the headquarters of Behemoth Visuals to Starbase, Texas, which is the city that Elon Musk is founding. I'm going to work my networking way in to become the main video production company for all of Elon Musk's companies, SpaceX, Tesla, and all that. And then that will help me be a proxy to space.
That's a cool goal, man.
Yeah.
Have you shared that a lot?
Recently, I think I shared it an hour ago. Actually,
nice.
So I had it. I had it I've had it.
You were ready to go.
I was ready to go. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm glad you asked that question because I really wanted to say it.
All right. Video in space.
Yes, video in space.
Good video in space. Right?
Good video in space. Yes, not a GoPro.
Right. No, that's awesome.
But GoPros are cool too. But I mean, I don't really like them. But that's my preference.
No worries, man. No worries.
Well, I don't do a lot of action sports. If I did action sports, I would love GoPros. I think, but I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, video production company in space. Yeah.
That's a very cool goal, man.
Yeah. I like space. I like rockets. I like astronomy.
Yeah.
Astronomy? I don't know.
What about astrology?
Astrology. I'm not a big fan. I won't go down that route because I don't want to offend anyone.
No, I got you.
I did a video when I was doing YouTube like a few years back where I was just like trashing astrology and I felt bad and I don't want to do that again.
No worries. We won't trash astrology. It's not going to happen in the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's cool. But yeah, is there anything that you'd like to promote today specifically on this episode?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is home ownership.
Mm-hmm.
And really with that, like kind of this idea of rooting yourself to the city. Again, it goes back to that original idea of the city improving, things being better, and we need people to invest here. We need people to say, this is my space, this is my town. Obviously we're a huge military community, and so there's lots of transientness, right? There's lots of in and out, up and down, people coming and going. And that's great for the market like that I'm in, because we have this kind of constant turnover of people buying and selling homes. It's great for us. But I think there's a real, I guess what's the right word to say? It makes just the city better when people stay.
Yeah. Right. For sure.
When people just come, and it's getting expensive. I get all that. There's challenges to coming and staying, but I think coming and staying and investing your life here, like raising your family here, like connecting with community here. I know there's lots of people who want to see the art scene get better, right? I know there's lots of people who want to see the music scene better, the comedy scene, the late night scene. They want to see the restaurant scene get better. And that takes.
And it is getting better.
It is getting better. It is getting better. But it's because, and the reason it's getting better is because people have said, I'm going to come and stay. Right? They've come to the Colorado Springs. Like, I'm going to help make this city better.
Yeah.
And so I would say investing here. A friend of maybe James Proby. He talks so much about shopping small, helping support local businesses. He's got that thing that always says, like, if you spend your money with a local business, like 80% stays here. If you buy it, at a big box store, it's like 70%, goes away. And if you buy it on Amazon, it's 100% that doesn't come to our city.
Yeah.
And so now obviously we're all still shopping with Amazon. There's things that we just need from there. But I think having this intentionality of investing in our city through small businesses, whether that's a local coffee shop or restaurants or, the downtown businesses or whatever it is, if you know someone who's a small business owner, which you are, and I am too, it's like, hey, come use us. Like, we want to help you. We want to do something cool for you. And in my own, advertising and marketing, things like that, that's what I try to do. Is I go to small businesses. I invite people. I have my meetings at coffee shops because I want people to experience, Jives downtown or Wayfinder or Third Space or Building 3, like that kind of stuff. And what that is I could go to Starbucks if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't ever want to either.
Right, because
or even Dutch Brothers.
And nothing against Starbucks. Well, and with Dutch Brothers, like, those are kind of locally owned franchises, which is cool. But it's like,
I just think it's too expensive.
That's true.
And if I'm paying $5 for coffee, I want to have a meeting with it, accompanied.
Like, yeah, I hear it, yeah. And so, but you go to those places because you're investing in our city, right? You're voting with your feet to say, hey, I want to stay here. I want the money that I'm spending, that I'm spending to stay right here. I don't want it to go into Seattle. I don't want it going to wherever that Dutch Bros franchise is. Like, I want it right in the pockets of the business owners and the employees of the people here. And so I would say obviously invest in, buy a house. If you want to buy a house, I'd love to help you. Thanks. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But really to focus on investing in our small businesses here, the people who are putting their lives on the line, their dreams on the line to provide goods and services to our city that no one else could do it the way that they do it. And that's the cool thing to think about, right? It's like no one else is doing video production like you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like you are unique, like special creation of God who is doing video production only how you could. And it's the same thing with other people in your industry, in my industry. Like we all do things with a unique imprint that no one else can replicate.
For sure.
And this is this cool idea. I don't know if you thought about this, but there's no competition.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, I've thought about that.
Like there's no competition for you. There's no competition for me. So I look at the people who are doing real estate. It's like, oh yeah, there's other people doing real estate. They're not competitors. And if I think about them that way, it's like, man.
Although I do buy into that, I still fall into that.
Sure,
that
of course. Yeah, like it's the easiest trap to fall into. But as we think about our own businesses, like, oh, there's no competition for Josh Stephenson. You know why? Because there's not another one.
For sure.
And there's not another you. There's not another anybody. And so as we have the mindset of whether you want to call it an abundance mindset, whatever it would be, it's like just do your business, right? Focus on your business.
How you can build your business the best.
Yes, that's right. Because there's a guy, Jordan Peterson. He's got this rule for life. It's like don't compare yourself to someone else. Yesterday, compare yourself for who you were yesterday. It's like don't compare yourself to other people
for who you were yesterday.
Yeah,
it's cool you brought up JP.
Yeah,
because when you were talking about taking care of yourself,
that's right. Yeah, that's where I came from.
We didn't use the metaphor that he says, which is clean your room.
Yeah, that's right.
But that's what I was thinking when you were talking about it.
Yeah. It's the clean your room, the make your bed kind of thing. I think it's William McRaven has the make your bed speech at UT.
He does. Yeah. That was really good. He's a Marine or something.
He was a. He's a Navy admiral.
Navy, yes. I did see that, and it's a
link in the description below. Right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna put it in there, but
just kidding.
Someone wants to put it in there. Put it in there.
Go find it. You can put it in the comments. It's easy to find.
Yeah, make your own bed.
Yeah. So there's no me. Besides me.
Yeah.
And so I can just focus on being me as a real estate agent, and I don't have to worry about other people.
Yeah. Well, sweet, man. This has been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, sweet. Where can people find you at?
You can find me on the internet. I have a Facebook page. I've got a website that I'm working on. It's not quite up to snuff. If you want to call me directly, 719-445-1661. If you want to send me an email, it's joshsellscos@gmail.com. We'd love to connect with you.
All right, sounds good, man. Well, this has been the COS Business Podcast. Today here with Joshua Stephenson, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Fun. Saw some head nod on over there. Had a peripheral. So.
Nice.